Hi, I'm Eugene. Welcome to the Pastor's Desk at Grace Point. In teaching his disciples to pray, one of the first things Jesus taught them was to pray daily. He said, look upward each day and pray, give us today our daily bread. That comes from Matthew chapter 6. Jesus actually assumes that prayer will be a normal daily part of your life as a follower of Jesus. Prayer is actually the daily posture of a dependent heart. It's the daily practice of depending on God, your loving and powerful Father. To depend on Him as your source of provision, power, comfort, strength, hope, and joy. In fact, what we often fail to realize is that your prayer life, or maybe your lack of it, is actually an indicator of who you're actually depending on in life. Who you look to each day actually tells you who you think can provide for you. Where you run to each day actually tells you what you think is able to most give you security and comfort. In fact, you'll never foster a heart dependence on God without fostering a daily prayer life. People often say to me, I want to learn more to be dependent on God. Well, you will learn to depend more on Him as you express your daily dependence on Him. As you learn to bring all your daily needs before Him. The Christian life, if you've never realized, is not one of independence. God saves me and then He leaves me to find my own way in life. No, it's a life of ongoing dependence on the one who saved you, who saved me. The God who saves me now says, lean on me, depend on me, trust me, let me provide, let me lead you. In fact, when you became a Christian, you prayed, didn't you? You prayed asking God to meet your greatest need. You prayed asking that God would deal with your sin and forgive you. You prayed trusting that Jesus' death would pay for all your guilt and shame. You looked to God's provision and you trusted God's provision for your greatest need in life. For someone to die for your sin. For someone to take the judgment you deserve on Himself. And if God in Jesus was able to meet your greatest need, don't you think He'll also be able to meet your every other need in life? If God in Jesus has met my greatest need, then surely He's able to meet my daily needs each day. That's the reason why the psalmist repeatedly turned to depend on God alone when the waves unsettled him in life. We read, my soul finds rest in God alone. My salvation comes from Him. He alone is my rock and my fortress. He is my fortress. I will never be shaken. That's Psalm 62. We read, find rest, O my soul, in God alone. My hope comes from Him. He alone is my rock and my salvation. He is my fortress. I will not be shaken. That comes from Psalm 62 as well. Prayer is actually an indicator of who you're depending on in life. Where you're looking to find your provision. What you're anchoring in to give you security. We read in Romans chapter 1, verse 21 to 23, that the danger we face each day is that there are God-like substitutes all around us saying, depend on me, trust me, love me, I can give you security, I can rescue you, I can satisfy you. And so each day, you and I are either going to run and pray at the altar of images made to look like God in His greatness, or we're going to bring our daily needs, our cares, our concerns to God in prayer. That's the reason why you spend more time on Netflix than in prayer, because there you find relief. That's the reason why you spend more time trying to increase your likes on social media than in prayer. Because there you find love. That's the reason why you spend more time trying to build your investment portfolio than in prayer. Because there you find your security. Functionally, we're all praying daily. When we feel the heat in our lives, when we experience suffering, when the circumstances press in on us, when things get difficult, when home life is hard, when your kids are too much for you, when we experience disappointment, when our expectations are not met, when work is unfair, we always run to find relief, to find security, to have our needs met. The question you need to ask is this one: where will you run? If the first port of call is not prayer to Him, then it will be to something or someone else. and that something or someone else is always an idol, a God substitute. And it's quite embarrassing to think that you would turn to God to meet your greatest need in Jesus, but you would not turn to Him to meet your daily needs each day. Where you run to in prayer each day actually reveals who is the object of your dependence, your trust and security in life each day. Your prayer life, or lack of it, is actually an indicator of who you're worshiping in life each day, who you believe is able to provide and meet your daily needs. Let me encourage you to start fostering a daily heart dependence on God in prayer. Learning to do this means making prayer a daily part of your walk, a part of your daily routine. Open the morning with prayer in the Psalms and close in prayer each day. Let prayer be your first response in any and every situation, at work, online, in your family during the day, in your decision making, in your relationships. Survey the landscape of your circumstances each day, and you'll find many needs. Things not in your control, your children's studies, pressure at work, disappointment, unmet expectations, personal struggles that never seem to go away, even pain and suffering that comes into our lives. Jesus says in teaching us to pray, stop looking at these things, start looking at the one who loves you and is powerfully able to meet your needs, and start entrusting them to Him in prayer. Learn to pray. Give us this day our daily bread.